What's up, Big Steve?
Shout out Michael Bisbin. Shout out the viewers that are watching this right after UFC. I know it might be late in some places. In some places it may not. Do a quick little recap, right? I did okay this weekend. I'm going to talk about all the regions. I'm going to talk about the boxing. So why not? I just had a competition. I came back. I had 4 matches. One of the hardest competitions in jiu-jitsu I've ever done, honestly. Pretty underwhelming. I lost the first one and I drew the next 3. It's sub only. So if no one subs anyone, you get a draw. So, and they gave me this. I've never had this bang energy. So I'm amped up. I don't have coffee. I don't have anything, the week of the competition. So this is like, not only is this an energy drink full of shit, it's also like the first meal of the day for me. So I'm amped up. So we'll get into it. I'll talk about how we did. I upped my units to $600 this week. So let's see where we're at. Let's see where we're at. KJC194, what's up, my friend? Don't know what that means, but I appreciate it. All right, let's get into it. So what I'm going to do is, if I do this nice and quick, I'm going to look into some odds for next week, and I'm going to talk about my 2-unit bet that I have on the UFC. All right, so I'm going to start with the boxing, right? I'm doing boxing recently. The reads are better. There's better locks for me personally. I'm such a casual, but everything I take for the first time, I get good reads. This was a big fight. Katie Taylor, Amanda Serrano, they fought twice already, and all the noise was on Katie Serrano. She was robbed twice. She went down to minus 200. Both fights were pick 'em. And honestly, I was like, Katie Taylor is the better boxer. This just reminds me of MMA. MMA fans, how it's like, oh, robbery, everything is a robbery. I honestly thought Katie Taylor could have won both fights and it wasn't a robbery at all. She's the better boxer. And I thought if Amanda Serrano fights a bit more patiently, she doesn't brawl, Katie should just pick her apart. But because there was so much noise, obviously so much money on Serrano, all this bullshit about, she should have won the first 2. I'm like, I don't know. Maybe they said trying to set up a 4th match or something, but I didn't play it. And I told some people on Discord, if gun to my head, I'll play Taylor. It's a no-brainer. And Pierce and some others cashed in on it, and I was hoping she would get robbed, but yeah, I just want to talk about that because the reads are really good in boxing, man. And I did have a boxing bet on the next card, but yeah, that, and there was another massive underdog that I passed a few weeks ago. But yeah, boxing. I'm going to bet a boxing bet in 3 days in Australia, so look out for that. All right, this is a big card, right? Hamza Shiraz versus Edgar Berlanga. And, I'm lucky I have a couple of people on the Discord that are really, really sharp. Dogfather, everyone knows Dogfather. Every now and then the guy gets offended at one of my jokes and he gets pissed off, but then he comes back. So we're good buddies. I respect Dogfather's action and his reads, especially in the boxing. But especially these top 4 fights, I was going to bet everything, right? There he is. Hello, my friend. Thanks for listening. And so David Morrell was a lock apparently. $1.10 favorite against Imam, and I was going to bet the under. Apparently everyone thought he was going to knock him out, right? Levels fight. Imam Kataev slows down, blah, blah, blah. And it was minus 200 not to go a distance, and I just couldn't do it. I have my under mindset like the UFC. If it's that chalky and it's one guy and it's an attritional KO, I can't do it. I passed, and, I thought Imam Kataev won. I thought he won, and he was a massive underdog, and he got robbed. So, yeah, passed on that one. Sabrel Matias. I had pick him. I cashed out to lose $13. Again, these fights I'm taping for the first time ever, right? I'm a boxing casual, and I just felt like I was forcing it. And, again, my boy Dogfather was on Matias. He won. Props to him. Shakur Stevenson, I wasn't really interested in this fight. And Hamza, I posted this on Twitter. I was looking at the side. Hamza became a massive favorite. A lot of money. Again, Dogfather played him early, like 2 weeks ago. Props to him. Got like plus money or close. And I'm like, yeah, he's the side. Honestly, he's the way better boxer. But I found one knockdown in the fight. $1.70, better than Hamza moneyline. And I'm like, dude, Hamza might drop him in the first round. Berlanga might drop him in the first round if he comes out hot, because he needs to come out hot. Otherwise, he's going to lose. Someone's going to get knocked out in this fight. Doesn't go the distance. Wasn't even that chalky, but everyone was favoring it. So I'm like, how does a knockdown not happen? I used ChatGPT for like the first time in betting, and they have 30-something knockdowns combined. And I posted that on Twitter. I'm like, dude, I feel like it's going to happen in the first 3 rounds. So I put 500 on one knockdown to win 360, and then I put $50 in rounds 1 to 3 at $5. The knockdown happened in round 4. So shame. So I still won $300, half a unit. So $300 up on the boxing. But yeah, the reads are great, man. The reads are great. And let's go in ACA. So as I said, I had a good weekend, but the powers to be tried to make me not win money. And my boy Pierce, the things Mugabe will do to Tafa in a no-gi grappling match, mate. The things I will do to Junior Tafa in the grappling match. The things I said I would submit Kennedy, and people were laughing at me. And you just watch that fight. You're telling me Kennedy, man, I'm submitting Kennedy. I've done heel hooks for 4 years. You're telling me I wouldn't submit Kennedy? Can't. All right. So ACA. So my boy Pierce, he had $2,000 on this man right here. Lincoln Puig. I don't know how to pronounce his name. Lincoln Puig, or let's call him Henriquez. And my boy MMA guy too. You know, I'm talking to him now. The guy has $100 units, but I don't unit shame. I respect his opinions. The guy grinds. I don't unit shame anyone that grinds, because I used to grind 5-6 years ago. All I did was bet. So I respect his opinions. And he's like, you should look into Lincoln. I look into it. There's like 1 hour before the fights get pulled. It's very hard to tape ACA, but we profited last time on Batista, and you know, I like it. There's a lot of tape. There's a lot of footage. And I lock in Lincoln Puig at like pick him, and you know, whatever. I stay up all night. The card starts earlier, and I watch him, and it's a back and forth. It's the worst ever Russian that he's ever fought, and he's doing stupid shit. He's puts his head in 5 guillotines, and round 2 comes. He gets taken down again. He reverses. He gets a Vaughan flu choke. I'm celebrating. I gave it out on Twitter. I gave it out on Discord. Right? Maybe that's why I won this week, because I've been sharing all my bets. And I check, and my bet's not there. And I'm like, dude, I bet this bet 100%. I've done this before with the Pola versus Belbita. I remember I was in a car sweating. I had a big night out. I was chasing. The Pola won a split. And I remember I didn't put the bet on. It's the worst feeling in the world. I'm like, dude, where's my bet? And the rule is, if I write it down in my book, that means I was looking at it and I was writing down the placed bet, and it wasn't there. And then people start coming telling me, watch out, there's a glitch on Bet Online. The bets are not locking in, or they lock in and then they remove it without telling me anything. I hit up service, and they're like, sorry, there's no official bet here. I'm like, oh, worst feeling in the world. I put a full unit at Pick'em to win $400 and something. And shit's hard to profit. It's hard to profit on ACA, especially when you bet a washed Brazilian guy that has a losing record against the Russian. So I'm like, I don't even want to watch this shit anymore. I had $100, $150 on Gasanov. Where is he? Right here. $1 plus $2.70, $2.70. And like, this is going to be a split fight. Lots of value on him as long as he doesn't get KO'd. And I didn't even want to add more. You know, I didn't want to add more when the limits opened up. I didn't want to tip it. I'm like, he's probably going to lose. Whatever. I'm going to bed. And then he won. So I actually won $240 on Gasanov. So I still profited on ACA. There was a couple of other leans that I would have won on Rausch Manfio, a couple of that I would have lost. So whatever. $250 on ACA. And a little bit on boxing. Now, we'll go here quickly, because I had a full $600 on Wimbledon, on Jannik Sinner versus Novak Djokovic. Obviously, Novak Djokovic is the GOAT. I'm Serbian. He's one of my favorite athletes, not just because of the play and whatnot, but his stance on whatnot. And full $600, I won $300. Sinner went up to minus 200. I didn't get that. I don't understand that at all. I don't mind fading my countrymen. That made no sense. Sinner's beaten last 5 or 6 times, all in straight sets. Some of the matches, Djokovic was in prime shape. One of the matches was Djokovic knocked out Alcaraz, who might win this tournament. He knocked out Alcaraz, and then Sinner still beat him in 3 sets. Right? And I'm like, minus 200. I think Sinner wins this 80% of the time. Should have put 2 units. He won 3-0. Should have put 2 units. So we're doing all right. So I got a little bit on boxing, a little bit on ACA, and whatever. We move on. Now, Cage Warriors. It's been years since I've been able to look at Cage Warriors and have like good solid bets I'm confident in. Obviously, they put a lot of bullshit cards with these Italians, and it's so low level, you know. But now they've got Shark fighting for the title. I bet Shark Hack, the Packy, the Wild Packy, whatever his name is. I bet him against Sam Creasy. This was like 3 years ago at Pick'em. And so these are like some of the better guys in Cage Warriors. We haven't seen him in a while because they're all really bum fights. And, you know, it was like 2 of these fights I taped for 1 fight, and I'm like, this is a play. All right, so Leon Hill, $1.60, $1.65. I'm like, I don't care what line this is. Stephen Hill is one of the worst fighters to ever do it. I've been trying to fade him in Bellator, and he's been barely winning. And then he started losing, and I'm like, bro, this guy's awful, awful, awful. I bet an over 1.5 rounds against Mike Shipman, who's a decision machine, and Stephen Hill quit against him. I'm like, I don't care if Leon Hill is $1.40, $1.50. If they're giving him 70%, 9 out of 10 times he's going to finish Stephen Hill at some point, even if he's getting grappled. And he did. That should have been a 2-unit bet. Oh, well, shit happens. And then Shiraz Quadrian versus Cameron Else. This under 2.5 rounds was plus 140. I couldn't believe my eyes. Plus 140. Cameron Else has been finished under 2.5 rounds in every single fight. This guy was in the UFC, and I was just smashing unders against him. Anyone can smash this guy, right? The last fight, he went to a decision against Reese McEwen, who's the biggest cuck in Cage Warriors, and Reese was just running away from him, just running away. I'm like, Shiraz is going to take him down, and he's going to maul him, all right? Maybe not in round 1, probably worst case round 2, but if it somehow gets into round 3, Cameron Else is like, he doesn't have the cardio to survive, right? And I think because, as you can see, he had a decision with Wesley Meyer and Alexander Aloof back-to-back. People thought that, the over should be favored. But I'm like, these guys are high level, man. Wesley Meyer and Aloof, high level. Took him 4 minutes to run through Cameron Else. I had half a unit because, I'm a bit iffy on totals and whatnot, especially this time of the year when a lot of the unders and stuff are not cashing. And I was like, wait a minute. I should put a whole unit on this. Fuck it. So I put $600 to win almost $900. And the way I felt about that slate, Leon Hill and Quadrian, I'm like, these are both going to sweep super easy. And I also felt like being a square. I felt like parlaying Wesley Meyer with like someone like, Tariq Pell. And I was like, oh, that's a bit square, but they're going to win, man. They're going to win. Or even Anthony Orozco, $1.10. Like, he's not losing to this random Brazilian bum. Or even Shiraz. I felt like parlaying Shiraz. I should have done it, but whatever, man. Like, $1,300 on Cage Warriors. I'm not going to complain. So what a weekend so far. All right, boxing, ACA, Cage Warriors. We're up big. And then we get into the UFC. We get into the UFC, but let me go through the comments. Through these lovely fans that are in here right after the UFC. MMA guy, Shiraz. That's right. MMA guy. Zubarev soccer kicking the man in the head and getting DQ'd was under 1.5 swing. Well, yeah. You did bet a lot of untrustworthy favorites in ACA, mate. I think you got to take that one on the chin. And also, who else did you bet that I was saying I wouldn't trust that? Someone in Cage Warriors. Can't remember. Doesn't matter. I'm not here to call you out. Oh, someone in LFA. I said Ribeiro might knock out that guy in LFA. All right. Leon King. What's Leon King, Nick? What are we talking about? Are we up to the UFC? Don't know. Oh, right. Leon Hill. Let's go. Easy. Atlantic Farts, you made it. Yes, you did, my friend. You made it for the UFC. So, everything's gone great. I neglected this UFC card because, I was focusing on Cage Warriors. And as I said, I don't have to tape these fights as much. Right? I had reads. And usually these 2-week break cards, as I said, I've been burnt with them before. Start of the year in January, massive loss. Some other time, loss. And, man, I saw this card top to bottom. Insanely top to bottom. Unfortunately, I did not capitalize. I did okay, but I did not capitalize. So Fatima Klein, first thing I said on my podcast, playing the under 2.5 rounds is square, especially when it got to like pick'em or whatever it was. Maybe plus 140 you can claim good bet. But Fatima Klein said 3 fights finish, or let's say 2 fights finish after the 2.5 mark. And then she had another one today, right? 6 seconds after the 2.5 mark. You can't say that's a bad beat. It's you were warned. I thought Fatima Klein 2-3. It was paying $3.60, and I said KO as well. I was like, I'm going to be pissed if Fatima Klein gets it in round 1. If she's very aggressive, gets a takedown, because she's been close in some fights. So I bet like $200, $210, and I just won like 190. I got away with that one a little bit. She couldn't get any takedowns, so that was lucky. Mike Davis, I wasn't interested. Walter Walker versus Kennedy. I said this one, you can't be betting Kennedy minus 200. I told some of my friends, I was like, lads, this happens all the time. Kennedy beats a few bums, then he's like a massive favorite, and he drops the ball against OSP, Dustin Jacoby. He's done it against two bums at heavyweight, the worst two guys, and they're giving him an in-prime Walter Walker, who's going to take him down. Kennedy's not hard to take down. And he's going to be minus 200 against him. And he's dropped the ball again. Did I expect 3 heel hooks back-to-back from Walter Walker? No, I didn't. But, man, I like the money line. I should have played it. But, again, I woke up today and went straight to a comp. I only watched Fatima climb. So, Eduardo Mora, I said this was going to be competitive. I said I thought I liked the under, but after tape, I was like, this ain't going to finish. And, yeah, I would have played Murphy if she wasn't so washed, but would have been annoying. Is what it is. Jake Matthews, I liked him as a dog. Plus 140, 240. I should have just locked it in. It's just hard to trust Jake Matthews, but I should have done it. You know, the age, Matthews is now on a 3-fight win streak, and he's finally beating good guys in the UFC, not guys that are just going to get cut. So that one stung a little bit. Chris Curtis, Max Griffin, I was not interested in this fight. I said he was not going to cover. A lot of people are on the split. Props to you. It was very obvious, and it worked out. Tuko Tokos Junior Tafa. All right, the main card. What do we have here? Icelandic farts. I hit the under 2.5 big money. Are you talking about Jake Matthews or are you talking about Lauren Murphy? Jake Matthews is extremely underrated. Look, he's been overrated for years in the UFC. They've been feeding him cans. He's barely been beating some of these cans. And now he's I think he's finally coming into his own. But don't forget, Jake Matthews is live for something stupid. Don't forget. It's just like Kennedy and Chukwu. He does well, and then people forget who he really is. So don't forget, lads. So I had 2 units on Junior Tafa, right? When my units were 500, and I was going to reduce, but obviously I moved my units up to 600. So that was like, it was less than 2 units, but it was to win 1 unit. So it was $1,000 to win 600. And I said, I got to be more aggressive. So I'm just going to leave it, whatever. I said Tuko Tukos is a nobody. He doesn't have any decision equity. He hasn't beaten anyone. And I actually watched this fight on my phone before my competition, and I was like, every time I fast forward it on Fight Pass, Junior Tafa is on his ass. And I'm like, bro, it's round 1, it's round 2. Can you stuff 1 takedown and knock this guy out? It hurts him in round 2, and then he gets taken down and submitted again. So, I mean, what is there to say? I knew the risks. Props to Tuko Tokos. He has his first win in the UFC. I never thought I'd see the day. Someone is going to brutally kill this guy. Anyone that gets signed from Dana White Contender Series might just kill Tuko Tokos. Vito Petrino, Austin Lane. I played the under 1.5 rounds here, $500. Honestly, I wasn't that confident because I thought he could get some top time, and as you saw, they were very patient on the feet. But luckily, Vito Petrino is the first guy to sub Austin Lane, so props to him. Morgan Sherry, Nate. I thought Nate was going to be winning, but I was scared of the bonk. Steve Garcia. Again, this is kind of like the Kennedy fight. I didn't understand this. I did not see why everyone was playing Calvin Kattar. I said he's been washed for years. That Emmett fight in the 5-rounder should have been an eye-opener. He's too hittable. He's too old. He came out extremely gun-shy. If I had any balls, I should have played Steve Garcia, but it is what it is. Easy fight for Steve. I said he was going to be ranked after this. So, as I said, I was seeing this card insanely well, but again, not capitalized. My biggest bet was Junior Tafa. Gabriel Bonfim. Here's one. I liked the under 2.5 rounds, and I didn't play it. That was one of the strong reads that I didn't take, and it worked out. I was also going to live bet Stephen Thompson after round 1, $3. And I didn't do it, and I got away with it. Honestly, people that bet Thompson, you were hard done by. No action on the fight. I thought it was 2-1 Thompson, man. That's rough. Really rough. So sucks. Sucks for you guys. Iceland farts. I'm talking about Walter Walker. Good under, mate. Good under. MMA guy. I was going to play Qatar beginning of the week. You sold me on Garcia, faded it, and I'm happy about it. Look, everyone was on Qatar. Sharp people, non-sharp people. That and Kennedy, and honestly, put my hand up, Junior Tafa were quite mushed. Like really, really obvious bad bets of the week. But again, there was a lot of people seeing things differently this week, and I just didn't agree. So, if I was a bit off, if I was a bit tilted, I would have played the Klein under 2.5 rounds, and I would have been burnt, and it would have upset me, and it would have put me down a spiral for the next few weeks. But I'm feeling good. I'm dodging landmines. So I hit the Petrino under, and I hit the Klein round 3 KO by accident, head kick. And I dodged the Bonfim under, and I need Derek Lewis under 1.5 rounds. I did a show. And I said, is this a lock? Derek Lewis said the script is round 1 KO. He said it on 2 different shows. He came in very light. I was hoping Talashin Teixeira would win because a lot of my friends were on him, just for that sake. But I was like, I don't really care. Just give me the knockout here. I had $750. That's 1.5 units of my old units. And I'm like, I'm just letting it ride. I'm done hedging. Whatever I bet, I'm leaving, even if I'm not confident. And it hit. So I hit 3 bets. I hit the Petrino under for 375. I hit the main event under for 375. And I hit the Klein, doesn't go, for $200. And all that was just to hedge me and break me even after my one big Tafa bet. So it is what it is. All right, so this is where we're at. Basically profited on every single thing this week. PFL Maina, changed my units to 600. ACA, remember they took away $400 from me from my Henriquez bet as well. Wimbledon, fading Djokovic. Big week on Cage Warriors, 2 units. Hamza, Balanga. Did I mention this? 1 knockdown? Yeah, I did. That should have been a max bet. A knockdown was always going to happen in 12 rounds, but I could only bet that on Bet365. Unfortunately, my bankroll is not that big, but it's getting bigger. And I lost $110 on Luis Teixeira. That honestly feels like a win because I had a good weekend and I didn't take away all my profits. If Luis went over, with the Tafa loss, it would have been like a $1,500 loss and it would have sucked. So yeah, I'm just under 2K for this week. So 3.2 units. And for the month, I'm 2.4K. So if you see here, I made 5,000 over the last 6 months, halfway through the year. 5,000, and I'm already at half of that in this month. So yeah, things are going well. I'm trying to be more aggressive. Still, the positives are, obviously the positives is the profit, being more aggressive. It's working out. It didn't work out with Tafa, obviously. But the negatives are there's some of these massive locks. For example, Wimbledon, Sinner at minus 200, that should have been 2 units. Leon Hill should have been 2 units. And the boxing Berlanga, 1 knockdown, man, that should have been multiple units. But hey, the only bet that was 2 units was Tafa. So I just can't pick the right ones, but it is what it is. Great weekend. We're going well. We're just going to keep on increasing. Hopefully get to $1,000. And how long has it been? 23 minutes? Should I do a little early tease? Yeah, we'll do a little early tease. Dogfather. Nick. Hey Nick, is this the Nick from the Discord? I love how your name is just Nick. It's just Nick in the Discord and it's Nick on YouTube. It's a very, very broad, very common name. So Nick, let me know if this is you. Oh, it is. Well, let's go. The Nick. I thought about doing an edited video about the Discord once because people always complain. I never name drop it, and I was just going to do an edited video and talk about it and say what's in it and who's in it, and just drop some sharp fellows. And I think Nick's sharp enough, and it's just going to be like Dogfather, Pepe Silvia, Big Bird, and it's just going to be Nick, just Nick. Right, that's your MMA name. It's just Nick. Big Bird, would you mind doing these guys better than KSW? You want me to do KSW? All right, let me get to it quickly then. Kevin, that's good stuff, mate. Good stuff. All right, what do we got? What do we got next week? So I'm gonna bet PFL Africa. Wow, that's interesting. What else? KSW. Wow, this is a really high level KSW card. I've been looking at this for weeks. And the other thing, Usyk Dubois. Wow, Usyk Dubois is this week. I did not realize that. Wow, that snuck up quick. And what else? UFC. Oh wow, pay per view. And Barrios Pacquiao. Wow. And there's also if any lads are in Australia, Sonny Bill Williams versus Paul Gallen are fighting in 3 days. The 2 ex-rugby players, they're fighting in boxing. I'm definitely going to be taping that. It interests me. All right, let's have a look at PFL Africa. Dennis Goldsov, Corey Anderson. AJ McKee, Magomedov, that's a good fight. Yeah, we. Oh no, they got my boy Babley. My boy Babley's back. I ain't talking about this shit. Let's move on. Yeah, 6 rounds. Do you think a Pacquiao fade is a max bet? Let me know. Adam Soldaev, Real Bridge though, man, this is a sick fight. Let me open up Bet365 because they got some odds. I might just destroy my new primed account if it hasn't already been limited from the boxing bets. Let's see what we got. KSW. This is a really high level. Brigta Adam Soldaev. This is a really good striking fight. Ibrahim Chugazov versus Marcin. This is really high level too. Ibrahim was a ex light heavyweight, and honestly, I think he's UFC level in my opinion. Bring him to the UFC, Ibrahim. Victoria, this is a squash match, I think. Oh, 11-2, of course it's a squash match. Adam, this is a meme fight. This guy's like submission or bust. And this other Adrian guy is so old and chinny, but he might just knock him out. My boy Mateusz Sheffield is back versus Martinek. Wow, this is the battle of the chins. I remember I had $4,000 on two guys against Sheffield. Problema, Ferreira, and then Wojcik, the kickboxer. They both knocked him out in 20 seconds. It's good stuff. Sometimes betting MMA is too easy. Wow, Martinek and Sheffield are picking. They both. I'll laugh at this comment. They shipped Babley to Africa. Man, Babley needs to. They need to ship him even further. They need to ship him to Antarctica after that performance against Nascimento. What are the odds? Leo Bridge, the slight favorite to Adam Soldaev. Oh, I could fade him there. Ibrahim, massive favorite. I kind of understand. Martin Wojcik is like kind of finish or bust. Adam, favorite. Sheffield Martinek is pick'em. That kind of feels. It kind of feels accurate because they both have good hands, and they both have shit chins. So Sheffield, if you don't knock out Sheffield and you stand with him, he's quite good with his hands, but it's just chin lets him down. What else? David Kuzmarsky versus Guzik. These are the two bums. Wow, they brought this guy back. Koziersko versus Caretta, two bums. All right. Well, high level card. I reckon the value is going to be on these bottom fights. You have to like look at the regional KSW, which is always good stuff. Always good stuff. But Dogfather Soldaev is daddy. He is. Remember when he was a massive underdog to who's that grappler? I forgot his name, but yeah, bet him there, knocked him out. It's beautiful stuff. 6 round. Barrios plus Dicheva plus Dulatov. Oh man, I don't know about Dulatov because Fugit is a fraud checker. Fugit can crack, man. So Dulatov could be a fraud, but the under 1.5 rounds, what is that going to be? $1.20? Maybe they give us minus 200 like Lewis again. Who knows? Alrighty, let's move on. Usyk, Dubois. I'm not really going to talk about this boxing. I only know these top two guys. Whatever. It's not a boxing podcast yet. It's not yet, but we'll see. All right, this is why we're here. UFC Holloway versus Poirier. I'm excited about this. It feels like only yesterday there was a pay-per-view, and now we're breaking down one again. Carly Judas, Nicole Cagliari. Well, I got 2 units on Carly Judas. Honestly, it's $1.40. It's worse than minus 200, but this girl is so awful, this Cagliari chick. I think she's not going to win a fight in the UFC. She almost beat Anesta Karatskite, and I've been telling everyone that Karatskite is the worst chick to ever do it. That's the only reason that was a split. Carly Judas went to split with Anesta and lost, but it was very short notice. I think Carly's a lot more talented. You know, just her split decision with Fernandez in the UFC shows that she's UFC level, right? She's going to be leveling up so much. 26. But yeah, that's. I just didn't overthink it. $1.40, whatever. I'll tape later. I don't even need to tape. It's a no-brainer. Some other really sharp people are on her too. I don't know how big they went. She's still $1.40 on Bet365, so the line is holding. All right. And that's it for bets. Now I'm just going to look into these. Steve, I got melted on this card. What did you play, Lucky Tim? Hopefully you didn't put all your eggs in one basket in Tafa, like some people I know. Like I had almost 2 units, but that was still too much. 6 round. Fugit sucks. Fugit is chinny, but I don't know if he sucks that much. He's got some good performances, man. He ran through Kinoshita, and he did well versus Morales. Probably the best anyone's done. Alrighty, Bruno Ferreira, Jackson McVeigh. I mean, are we about to get another violence card? Right. Kylie Judice might finish. Bruno Ferreira should absolutely run through Jackson McVeigh. Ryan Spann versus Lucas Bresky. Dude, if Ryan Spann doesn't knock out Lucas Bresky in seconds, cut him. Cut him tomorrow. Cut him tomorrow. That's, some people are saying Ryan Spann, $1.44. Not touching it. I'd rather just go the under. I'd rather just go. Jimmy Crute, one of my sharp friends, Bakayako from Croatia in the Discord. He's feeling Jimmy Crute chalk. Tailor-made matchup. Marcin Prachnio, I can't do it, man. I can't do it. Maybe I can do it after the tape. Maybe I can do it after the tape, but, I played chalk for Devin Clark chalk against him. And, yeah, he burnt me. He's all right, man. Marcin Prachnio is not that bad. And I just can't. I can't. Jimmy Crute has let me down at chalk versus a washed Anthony Smith. Right? He can't beat Alonzo Menafield at chalk. He lost to Misha Circuit on that. I can't trust this guy, man. I can't trust this guy. I get it. It's Marcin Prachnio to step down, but Jimmy Crute is just not to be trusted. All right, Adam Fugic, Islam Dulatov. All right, we already talked about this fight. Yeah, I get it. Yeah, Dulatov, it's setting up for another under 1.5 rounds, right? Ateba Gutierrez, Robert Valentin, another under 1.5 rounds. But honestly, this fight right here, man, Ateba is getting a massive step up. Robert Valentin is good, man. It's one thing to fight in the UFC against freaking Jose Medina, and me and Dogfather, man, we were telling everyone. Everyone is like, the most durable man in the UFC. He's gonna gas out. Gutierrez is gonna gas out from beating him up. And me and Dogfather like, bro, Jose Medina's getting knocked out. He's not even that durable. But yeah, man, Robert Valentin, he's got heaps of finishing upside. He's got KOs, he's got subs, and they're giving him this African that just has no experience. He's like so green, and he's 23, and I haven't really been impressed in any of his fights. Crude his ass. He sure is. Big Bird. Is this line not nuts, Steve, in a striker versus striker? Well, Valentin is a grappler by trade, but he has power for days. So, yeah, it is nuts. It is nuts. It's very nuts. That's what I'm just saying. It's clear example of recency bias. I would love to see what the under... I might stay up tonight to see what the unders open up. I would love to see where that one goes. But I don't know if he's chinny. He just brawls. He loves to brawl. He's been dropped before, but he's come back and he got dropped by Paddy McCrory, and he just finished him in the same round with an armbar. Like the levels of grappling Valentin has over Ateba, it's just massive. What's minus 160, Big Bird? The total? Surely they don't have totals out already. Don't make me go through all the totals live on the show. Don't make me do it. No way, they have totals. Wow. Wow, they do. Wow, okay, so Carly Judice, under 2.5 rounds, $3. That's a bit crazy. That's a bit crazy. Carly Judice just ran through a really tough chick. Okay, that one's sticking out. Of course, there's no Bruno Ferreira, Jackson McVeigh under. Of course, they're going to be careful with that one. All right, Ryan Spann, Lucas, what's this under going to be? $1.71. Okay. Slight minus money. That's all I'm going to say. Interesting. Of course, there's no under for Adam Fugic versus Islam Dulatov. Of course. Valentin versus Gutierrez. Yeah. Look, that doesn't make sense to me. This under 1.5 rounds is worse than Lucas Bresky versus Ryan Spann. That makes no sense to me. Like I did just say Valentin's a finisher, but again, makes no sense to me. Nick, I feel like Ryan Spann round one better there. Lucas not much finishing. Correct. I don't mind that whatsoever. But he just felt like he felt like the Petrino under. It was always going to be Petrino over Julius over Austin Lane, but you just never know, right? Austin Lane round one, pardon me, Petrino round one was paying shit, and then it gives you a little bit of round two equity because he has a lot of round two finishes. So I don't know. And Ryan Span's chinny. We know he's chinny, so I wouldn't say Bresky has no equity because he was throwing down, man. He was landing on Budai. He kind of wobbled Budai, and he wobbled Walter Walker too. So I don't know, man. I wouldn't put it past Ryan Spann to get knocked out by someone like Lucas Bresky. But maybe Ryan Spann round one is better. Shady, shout out Steve. I thought you retired, mate. Welcome back. Alrighty, well that's it. We caught up with the totals. Let's go back to breaking down this card. Francisco Prado, Nikolai Bretnikov. Man, they need to give Prado some easier fights. If he loses this, he's probably cut. He's a young guy in the UFC. Not too sure what they're doing. And a lot of money is coming in on Nikolai Bretnikov. Should he be underdog? I don't know. I'm not really impressed with Nikolai either. Prado losing 30-27 to Jake Matthews, whose decision equity is always crap. But I feel like we saw that Jake Matthews turned the corner there a bit. Yeah, Bretnikov just got rammed through by Austin Vanderford. Lost to Danny Barlow. I don't know, man. This is a stupid fight. What's the total there? Under 2.5 rounds, big plus money. Okay, interesting. I'm pretty sure Bretnikov has never been finished himself. Yeah, that makes sense. These guys are Austin Vanderford ground and pounded him. Yeah, probably goes over. These guys are insanely durable. All right. A washed Marvin Vittori versus just bum-ass Brandon Allen. This is a bit disrespectful, right? Brandon Allen minus 200. Right? And tell me, is this line not disrespectful? Again, I'm not looking forward to taping these two bums. I just taped Brandon Allen versus Chris Curtis in a fight that he should have lost against, 38-year-old Chris Curtis that's just a boxer, nothing else on short notice. Yeah, I mean, this is dog or pass. I don't care. Dog or pass. Brandon Allen is so inconsistent. What's the under? There's no under there. Cool. Carla Felix, Vincius Oliveira. This is a sick fight. I like this. I like this fight. What are the odds here? I feel like this is going to be competitive, and I feel like Carla Phillips could kill Vincius Oliveira. He's probably going to be a big underdog, a big favorite after his, 3-fight win streak in the UFC. Where's he at? Yep. I had a feeling it'd be around there. Minus 200 for Vincius Oliveira, trending there. Don't really like that. Honestly, Carla Phillips is no more. He's not chopped liver, man. That Rob Font performance was disgusting. There's clearly something was wrong with him. But Barcelos before that, Pedro Munoz, he looked like he was in the Matrix against Pedro Munoz. Marcelo Rojo, whatever. Yeah. Whatever. All right. We're into the main card, and wow, who would have thought? Michael Johnson in the year 2025 is opening up a pay-per-view card. I'm going to go through the comments, lads, and then I'll get back to it. Nikolai Dog, not bad. Yeah, a lot of money's coming in on him. That's the issue. Big Bird, didn't Spann come out in the last fight looking like he was fresher for Weight Watchers? That's the thing. Some people go to heavyweight and they look like Kennedy Nchuku and Vitor Petrino. Others look like Ryan Spann. They haven't trained a day in their life. So we'll see how he looks on the scales because his job is on the line here. His job. 6-ounce Prado sucks. Zero process. Yep, pretty much. Shady, I like Brother Ige. We'll talk about that. I like him too, but man, where this line is going, it's a bit disgusting. Dogfather, he's been lining my pockets, man. The Ricky Simone one pisses me off. I should have played that. If all fights will run around, Carla Phillips would be the GOAT. Yeah, Carla Phillips is the GOAT. All right. Michael Johnson, Daniel Zellhuber. What do I say here? What's this line? $1.17 on Zellhuber. Now, Zellhuber is hittable, man. He is hittable, and if you're a good boxer, you will light him up, which Michael Johnson is. So, he lost to Prado. That's a shit win. He finished Christos Giagos. I live bet him there. but that's a shit win. And Jaguars rocked his shit. Lando Venata, he looked good. Trey Ogden, red flag. He lost the first round to Almeida and lost to Ribovic. I bet Ribovic there as well. That was what an exhilarating win that was. I didn't expect to get that win, but I think Ribovic hurting him near the end saved me. Nick with the Johnson next bet. I'm glad I called you sharp, Nick, right before that. Good call. He's not supposed to win, so he will. Yeah, Michael Johnson, man, I hate the guy. I don't never have the courage to play him. I just played doesn't go the distance against Ottoman Azaita, and I think he was hurt there as well. Yeah, but it's a dog or pass. If you're gonna bet Daniel Zellhuber, he's probably gonna lose round one. Let's be honest. He always does it. All right, Dan Ige, Patricio, people, look. Dogfather, sadly, you have to play Michael Johnson. Well, I don't have to play him. I don't have to do anything, but maybe pass is better. Dan Ige. So I know how extremely Patricio people is washed, right? Been following him in Bellator. I bet him a few times, against Jeremy Kennedy, the bum. He's washed, man. I thought he might have done better against Yari Rodriguez, but the guy's unfortunately done. So yes, I'm looking into Ige, and that's the first one that stuck out. The issue is Patricio will grapple, and Ige, has that stupid takedown defense and sometimes doesn't separate. But when you give someone that's chinny or washed to Dan Ige, he either knocks him out in one round with one punch, or he actually covers. He finally covers. Andre Feely, Nate Landwehr, dropped him in all 3 rounds, knocked out Damon Jackson, one punch on Gavin Tucker. Like, he will cover. And Patricio Pitbull is washed, extremely washed. And he actually won against Sean Woodson, his best win. He got a knockout in round 3. He rallied back. That fight was 1-1. I live bet it. Not often do you live bet and you get a knockout 1 minute in. I got a bit lucky there. And he almost beat Laurent Murphy. So, but do we have any value at close to minus 200? Don't know. Lads, under 2.5 rounds, $3.15 plus 215. Now that's crazy to me. That's the one. Can Patricio Pitbull knock him out? Probably not. He barely throws. Can he submit him? Maybe. But yeah, that's it. That's the play. Under 2.5 has to be. These lines are all probably going to get ruined now with shit limits, but it is what it is. It will come back. The Lewis under came back. Everything came back. So you got to have an abundance mindset. I don't mind giving out leans because you get something in return. Kevin Holland versus Daniel Rodriguez, another washed welterweight. I mean, on the surface of things, Daniel Rodriguez can piece up Kevin Holland. Wonderboy did it. If he slows down, if he doesn't get finished, Daniel Rodriguez has good hands. He looked great against a washed Ponzinibbio, but Ponzinibbio was faster than him, and he still did all right. He bit down and he threw in the pocket, but what am I going to say? Split over Alex Morono, Santiago Ponzinibbio. Kevin Gastelum lit him up. Knocked out by Ian Gary. That's a bad look. Submitted by Neil Magny. Yeah, he's probably getting submitted. I mean, I hate to be a square. Holland under 2.5 rounds, $1.60. Well, I really thought this was going to be 1.5 rounds, honestly, like the Luque fight. But here we go. We're getting a 2.5 under on a Kevin Holland fight. That's interesting. I'm not going to say too much about that one, but you know where my mind's going. Ige finish only system play, safe as government bans. Dogfather, Ige KO better than Moneyline. Yeah, but what do you think his KO is going to be better than $3.15 plus 215? Might as well play the under there. This Kyler Phillips line starting to stand out the more I tape. I mean, it's easy Phillips will pass. 6 round, under 2.5 is Ige KO. I mean, again, do we know what the price is going to be? It might be worse. This will be the fight Holland randomly loses. Yeah, but I think you got plenty of time to live bet Daniel Rodriguez. I think his decision equity is just like he goes to war with Moreno, he goes to war with Ponzinibbio. Like, if he's going to war with Holland, he's not really going to separate. And if it's a close fight, you got plenty of time to live bet. If he hasn't died in the first 2 rounds. Yeah, D-Rod's washed. Big dog, is there a line out for the EKKO? Mate, we're just getting totals. We barely got some totals. We ain't getting props just yet. Be patient, my friend. All right, Roman Capello, Paulo Costa. I mean, this is a dog or pass. How can it not be? I've just watched Roman Capello get hurt multiple times by Chris Curtis. Obviously, Ribeiro hurt him. The GOAT Ribeiro that just bounced back with a knockout in LFA as a massive underdog. So he's always been susceptible to getting hit with overhand rights. You know, Cesar Almeida. Fuck, I remember I bet Cesar Almeida there. That was a tilting loss. He turned into a wrestler. Claudio Ribeiro, actually. Punahele Soriano, yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's a dog or pass, but I'm not feeling it, man. I don't know where the hell Paulo Costa's mind is at. Like that Sean Strickland performance. Was Sean Strickland minus 200? Yeah, it was. I bet the over there at Pick'em. I think it was 2.5 rounds at Pick'em. Mate, that was cruise. That cruised over. That just absolutely cruised over. He lost to Robert Whittaker. Yeah, he has no volume. This guy has no volume. After that Luke Rockhold fight, I said I'm never betting this guy again. There's just something mentally wrong with Paulo Costa. He's lost 4 of his last 5. Izzy, Vittori, Robert Whittaker, Sean Strickland. Yeah. Dude, I remember the days when I bet him against Romero as an underdog. But those days are long gone. It's not the same guy. Nick, big old pass. Never know if Costa will be top 5 or just go. Mate, I don't think Costa's truly been top 5 ever. Like, he beat Romero when he was declining, but that's all he's done. I had Costa plus 5.5 versus Strickland, and that one tries just. You were lucky with that one. Polo fought like a total pussy against Strickland. Yeah, that fight tells you that there's something wrong with Polo. These fighters that are usually very aggressive, and then in other fights they try to fight patient, and it doesn't work. They just end up throwing nothing. You never bet them because they don't have a style. They don't have a process that works. They can't do one or the other. Just stay away, man. Roman's going to be kicking the shit out of him for a while. Who knows what happens? All right. Max Holloway versus Dustin Poirier. Poirier's retirement fight. Max seems to be moving to lightweight for real. I think that's a good move for him. He's got nothing at featherweight. He can't beat Volk. He can't beat Topuria, but whatever. He's going to have to deal with him at lightweight now. Yeah, he's got some good matchups here. He ran through a washed Justin Gaethje. Gaethje took that on short notice. Gaethje still dropped him. I don't know. I think this could still be competitive. Dustin is a dog, man. His fight with Benoit was good. His fight with Islam was good, even though Islam looked like he had like 3 different staph infections. Got knocked out by Justin Gaethje. Yeah, there's a lot of people that have different opinions on this fight, and the fight is still hovering around pick'em. So, what is really the edge here? Do we have an edge? I personally pre-tape. I was going to say confidently lean, but I lean Poirier. Holloway. Just because Max is now at lightweight, he's staying at lightweight. Probably more time to bulk up after Topuria. He obviously decided he's going to move up to lightweight and not come down. And whatever. Dustin Poirier is retiring, but I don't think he's going to perform like a guy that's checked out. Like Dustin Poirier is a dog. He's always been a dog. He will always go out on his shield. He's never been a pussy. So I don't know. I think honestly that Justin Gaethje is an easier fighter to shut down for Max Holloway than Dustin Poirier. I don't know. That's just the feeling I get. I feel like Gaethje's a little bit more hittable, maybe a little bit more chinny, and just a little bit more. I don't know. That's just how I feel. Lucky, I think it's Dustin or pass. Interesting. FIFA, it's a pick and fight, okay? So maybe my leans are wrong. I thought the over 4.5, 2 durable vets. Look, it's very risky, honestly, because people bet that against Gaethje versus Poirier, and one of them died to a head kick. It's chalk, $1.70 for the over 4.5. I don't know. Both can be hurt. We've just seen Max Holloway knocked out for the first time. He was hurt many times by Poirier in their second matchup, and Gaethje hurt him. Dustin's been knocked out before. I don't know, man. High-level fight. High-level fight. We'll talk about it later after some tape. Dustin looked like he lost a step ever since the Chandler fight. I don't know. The Islam Makhachev was his best championship performance, in my opinion. But yeah, Islam looked incredibly past it there. All right, that's it. I'm giving you the recap. I've given you an early tease, 50 minutes. Like and subscribe. Peace out. Thanks for listening.